Well, I want to talk about in the hearing and in the report, it talks about this is the highest levels of the Justice Department were involved in authorizing this. Does that mean Attorney General Eric Holder was involved in it?
Well, we believe that he was aware of it much earlier than he said in his testimony and questioning before Judiciary Committee. In follow-up, it became pretty clear, and in most of the follow-up was done by Jason Chaffetz as the original source. But, President knew about it apparently before Eric Holder. According to Eric Holder, certainly, there were things in which he was supposed to be on the call, but somebody from his bunk that occurred before that time. So there's those sort of questions, but we're not, since the president said that neither he nor Eric Holder authorized it, and Eric Holder said he didn't know about it till just a week before the hearing. That can be worked out over time, whether that's right. Clay Brewer, who was responsible on the criminal side for authorizing many of these things, and a host of other people, and some of it's in our reports. The balance will be in releases in the next few days. There are a host of emails where the distribution list goes to the top levels of justice. I understand, Fred. We're not presuming that in every case the principal person there understands it. What we're saying is that each of these offices at the highest levels were broadcast or emailed or in the distribution, and effectively, in some cases, there's a signature either on behalf of that individual or even their own signature. So it's a long answer to say, yes, we're confident in everyone at the highest levels. Are we confident that Eric Holder knew it much earlier? No. Did he know it earlier than he testified? Absolutely.
President Obama spoke on I think it was in March, on a Spanish language TV interview, that he wasn't really aware of it, but it should be looked into and people should be held accountable. How much do you think he knew about this? And how early, I guess?
Well, I think the president completely gave his word there that this wasn't something that would ordinarily rise to directly to the president. Was it briefed by people in the White House? I'm sure it was. Was it? Did he know about it personally? Probably not. But understand, now that he said it should be looked into, the clock has been ticking for a long time and nothing has happened as far as they're releasing any findings.
Okay. Now, you alluded in the hearing, I think, yesterday, and even the report talks about this is kind of just the first step in this investigation, that there's going to be more follow-up. How many more hearings, how many more reports do you think will be issued on this?
We're going to continue until we're sure that people of bad judgment have been taken out of those positions of authority where they can do similarly bad ideas, and until there are orders and rules that would prohibit this kind of conduct in the future. Okay. And as of yesterday, both the ranking member and myself made serious commitments to ensure that the dragnet includes all of those responsible in the killing of Brian Terry.
Now, would you anticipate asking, or if a request doesn't work, of actually subpoenaing the Attorney General to testify about this particular issue?
Investigations take one step at a time. We have commitments of cooperation that have not yet been realized. We'll continue working. One of the things about being the Chief Investigation arm of Congress is we have lots of investigations. This one is particularly important because people have died on both sides of the border. But they take time, and we do them appropriately and methodically and professionally. So would we eventually get to that point? Potentially. Is that you could jump to that point and drag somebody in who usually can say, I don't know about it. Dozens or hundreds of people that work for me might. You go through the dozens or hundreds of people to get all the answers, and then if it's appropriate to bring the chief executive of any part of government in, then you do.
All right. And if DOJ officials have lied to Congress, I mean, would there be a possibility of perjury or contempt charges in this?
Well, certainly if you lie to Congress, that's always a possibility. One of the oddities is if you lie to Congress, we refer it to justice for prosecution.
Okay. And do you believe that there have been lies? Okay.
We said very accurately that the letter we received from Ronald Nice. Thank you.
Hello?
So, who put the inaccurate statements in? What research was done? Because it is effectively lying to Congress to send a letter that should be researched and thoughtful and signed by a high-ranking appointee. It's important that be accurate, and it wasn't. So you could see that we were very aggravated. Mr. Rice was very aware that we were very aggravated, and we were aggravated because that letter was a lie, and he wasn't willing to admit that it was a lie. Instead, he said, as facts come out, as we learn more. No, that letter was written to say something. You don't affirm something without fact check. They clearly did not fact check, or they fact checked and told us something that they thought cleverly might not be a lie when in fact it was.
All right. Now, this is something that the president has talked about, even as going back early 2009. He talked about addressing the issue of guns going south. Does that indicate that this was the type of operation might have even been a priority of the administration?
We believe it was a priority of the administration. We believe it was an operation that may have been thought of locally, but it was approved at high level, and we believe that it was felony stupid.
All right. And
I'm going to give you. I'll give you a shortcut on this. It is at best, an idea to kick a field goal from 99 yards out by taking a shortcut and saying, well, if we dump a bunch of guns in, we might get lucky and round this group up. It certainly was not one in which there had been a history of this kind of program working. There was not one in which there was a testing of it to see if it yielded fruit. It was one in which they just did it all, and when it didn't work, they did more. So, that's at best case. At worst case, they were knowingly reckless and didn't care. So I'll give them the best case that they were just felony stupid in what they did.
And do you think would you go as far as say that there's been a cover-up involved in this? I mean, when you said that they weren't totally forward.
Yes, I would. There's two kinds of cover-ups. There's one in which you lie to people in order to mislead them. That letter represents that type of cover-up. There's also the one in which you delay and delay and attempt to simply not have the facts come out. And clearly they've done that with Senator Grassley first and then with our committee. And we believe that because some of the things they redacted, we have the unredacted versions of whistleblowers. We believe they did excess redacting, which again is denying us that which would be reasonable to deliver us. We're hoping that that's changed. We hope that what was said yesterday is in fact meaning there's a change in the administration's view of delay in order to not be embarrassed.
Okay. And something that John Dodson brought up yesterday is that he doesn't really trust the DOJ Office of Inspector General to do an adequate probe on this.
It's inappropriate when you have high-level executives, people who could effectively have you fired as IG. It's inappropriate to have the IG do the investigation. This is not corruption at the low level. The IG can investigate things which do not include high-ranking people, but it's very difficult to investigate oneself. And the credibility of the IG is not being questioned by me, but the credibility of the report will ultimately be called into doubt simply because Eric Holder can fire the IG, and that often makes it very hard for the IG to get the access and the outcome that they should get.